upload it to the group. So now we're recording. There we go. Okay.
Okay. So did you want me to be the timekeeper and what time?
Now suddenly everybody gets super quiet. Oh.
I need to turn a light on, don't I?
Yeah, you can be the timekeeper. This thing's going to cut off at about 7:45. So.
Okay.
Okay. So you want me to let you know when it's 7:40?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Becky, you're the one that came up with that outline, right? Was that you?
Yes, that was me.
Okay.
Are we good with that?
Yeah, that looks great.
To pull it back up. I'm using like multiple devices at once because I'm having these weird technology glitches. So let me see. Oh, I got excited for a minute. I was like, oh, it's somebody.
Oh, excuse me.
There we go. Yeah, I'll just leave this up here. So I guess doing like our introductions and brand stories first. And Jamora, I was just telling Renee, I said I'm not sure if I was on the right track with this because I feel like I tried to follow the questions in the book and the directions, but it ended up being different than I thought it was going to be. And I have a terrible memory, and so I can't even remember what I wrote. So I'll be kind of using it as a point of reference for mine.
Okay, so we needed to discuss our brand story because I thought I read in the notes that the brand story would come later.
No, I think.
No, I thought she wanted us to. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Renee.
I was just going to say that I thought you had a good idea, Becky, to wrap the brand story in with our introduction. So that's kind of our introduction plus brand story.
Okay. Yeah, because I thought that's why she wanted us to tape it. It was so that we could like listen back to.
Okay. You were cutting out there, but I got what you said.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I was trying to figure out because I had Jamora on my screen, but then it was frozen, and I was like, "What's happening?"
So yeah, brand introduction, brand story, pod roles moving forward, debrief for week 1, and open up for request share celebrations. That's great.
Okay.
So
does anybody want to start with brand stories? I mean, I'm happy to, but if somebody else wants to.
I will.
Okay.
You want me to? I will.
Sure.
Okay, so it's going to be a little introduction and brand story. So I'm Renee Gregoire. I'm a marketing writer, editor, blogger, blogging coach, writing coach, and I'm still working on all that. I've been doing this since about 2002, the marketing, writing, and editing anyway. And I'm trying to move into like online programs, that kind of thing, so that I'm not doing dollars for hours. So my brand story, here we go. How do you feel when you visit a website that's broken? Or when you take all your time and fill out a form, and then you click submit and it doesn't do anything? Or when you're trying to read and understand what someone is saying on their website because you're interested in what they promise, but you can't figure it out. It's like, it's confusing. Or, you go to you want to buy and you go to look for a contact, but there's nothing. There's just nothing. You look in the footer, you look at everywhere. You go to the contact page and it's just a naked form. There's nothing, just name. There's nothing. So you're all depressed. I mean, and this is the experience of most people on the web. So that's where my story comes in, because that's the problem I'm setting out to solve. And my approach to solving it is to eliminate, or to teach website owners, business owners, how to eliminate all the blocks and stumbles that crop up while people are visiting their site or experiencing their content. So, I help with the writing, but it's more than the writing. It's creating smooth customer experiences. And why is that exciting for the people using my product? Because you will sell more. If you follow my steps and my process, you will create a clear, smooth experience. And people on your website are going to be more likely to say yes. So that's why it's important. And why is this just the beginning of the success you will achieve? I don't know if I've gotten that far. Probably, okay, yeah, because once you get once you eliminate all the areas of friction, all the stumbles and blocks, then you can really work on making your message, bringing your brilliance out and making your message shine so that people are attracted to you and they can get to know, like, and trust you, and so they can buy from you. So that's my brand story.
All right.
Should we save feedback to the end, or do you want to give any feedback to me?
See, and that's why I was hoping I would see a response to my question, because I was kind of unclear of like, where are we going next with the brand stories? Like when we're working on them, like what are we trying to hone them into? Because I was kind of like, I want to be able to give people helpful feedback, but exactly what she wants these to look like, if that makes sense. Did I cut out there?
Yeah, you're right. There's no sense of where we're going with it. But my takeaway, just because of doing this kind of thing, that the story she wanted us to tell, it almost feels like it's our about page, or, why you should do business with me, or, why do I care about what I'm doing? So,
and that's what I was kind of going back and forth on, because I feel like for me, when I think about like the story piece, I guess I feel kind of more like, are we supposed to be embedding more of like our personal journey that led us there to like show the passion piece, or sticking more to like, this is the story of my brand independent of me, if that makes any sense?
I think it's a combination of both. You're trying to blend. Your brand story is a lot of who you are, because you are somewhat your brand, but at the same time, your brand is also about what you're selling. It's almost like they need to mesh together.
Right.
At least that's what I was thinking. It was both, a little bit of both, because for most of us, your business is what you're passionate about.
Right.
Yeah. So Becky, based on what you just said there, I would change my story to say, how I'm on the web and I get so sick and tired. It would be more my personal story and experiences, instead of asking the reader, how would you feel? How do you feel?
Well, and that's where I was confused, because I feel like in some things, we're supposed to put this was my experience, but then in other things, it's take yourself out of it and focus on. So that's why I'm not sure which kind of lens she wants to use.
I see. Well, I guess we can just go over.
Yes, thank you for helping me articulate what was in my brain. Get this out.
So who wants to go next?
Oh.
Okay, I'll share mine next.
Oh.
Okay, hi, I'm Jamora Cooper. I am a mom. Well, let me back up. First, I am a wife of, it will be 21 years this October. We have 4 boys, 26-year-old, 18-year-old, 14-year-old, and a 16-year-old. And we are here in Jacksonville, Florida. We've been here for almost 20 years now. My husband's retired Navy. That's how we eventually made our way here to Jacksonville. I am an educator, even though I may not be within a school setting every day like I was before. I taught for 15 plus years within a Montessori school environment, public school, and private Christian school. And I was also an administrator for about 12 years. Curriculum coordinator, professional development, all those wonderful things centered around education. helping the teachers, the students, and the parents. And I enjoy it. I like it. As my husband will tell you, I forget sometimes, and he can hear my teacher voice come out when something's not quite right. And it's like, oh, I don't know how to control it. It tends to come out when I sense that somebody may not be understanding something, and I go into teacher mode. My business is Your Classroom LLC, and that business was birthed maybe about 3 years now. And it started when I became a creator at a crowdfunding festival. I went to the workshop on behalf of my school, and then lo and behold, I ended up presenting an idea, which to me was just an idea because my background is elementary education. So I saw it as, oh, this would be a fun activity. And that's all it was to me. At this crowdfunding festival, lots of teachers thought it was an awesome idea and they loved it. They had to vote on different ideas. So we made some money there because of the votes. You would get a certain amount of money. And then after that, I boxed it all up and put it in my closet, and I was done and finished. I went back to my regular job as an administrator. Different individuals would see me and then say, hey, how's the business? I'm like, what business? I didn't know what they were talking about. So after, I don't know, a year or so of people saying this to me, I said, okay, God, am I supposed to start a business? Is this supposed to be a business? And I felt as though I heard God say yes. I had no idea that this was a business because the idea came about when I first moved here to Jacksonville. I wanted to go to what was known as the Teacher Depot, and I was told I could not use those services because I was not a public school teacher. So I journal every night, and I came home and I was just venting as to how upset and how mad, and that's just crazy. It doesn't matter whether you're public or private. We're all trying to help the students. And that's where this idea came from. Your Classroom right now is starting small, but I'm thinking big because when it's all said and done, it will be a super center for teachers. It would be basically a one-stop shop for teachers. Right now, as an educator, teachers go one place to purchase their supplies. They go somewhere else for their professional development, somewhere else to meet their peers, to work with, to get ideas. So why can't we just have one place for teachers? They'll be able to come to the center and purchase new supplies or gently used supplies. They'll be able to register and take workshops right there at the center. Parents can come and purchase items to help them with their children. Children can come and receive tutoring if they need some help with a certain subject. So it's just basically a super center for anybody that's working with kids. The age range is, again, pre-K through 8th grade, and it is available, you know, my favorite thing, for anybody. Nobody will be turned away whatsoever. But like I said, we're starting small, thinking big. So right now we have the retail store where we're selling our store. We have a section that's all new supplies, and then we have an area that's considered our boutique area, and we have another area that's our gently used. We are doing workshops, and we have contracted with a few schools as far as they purchase their supplies from us. And we are tutoring some of those students that need help at the elementary level, K through 5th grade. And that's pretty much it.
I love it.
Thank you.
I'm telling you, you're speaking my language.
It's a lot.
It's a lot, but I love the idea of taking all of those scattered pieces and putting them in a centralized place. Because I know, you know, having worked in public education for a number of years, there's so many, like you said, there's so many different places and pieces, and I think it can end up with people feeling very fragmented. So I love it.
And it sucks your time up, it sucks up your money and your energy, because you need to go here to do one thing and then you go over there to do something else. You know, why not just one place? We have one place for everything else in life. You have Home Depot if you need something for your house. You have Walmart if you just need everything. But you have those places. Even people in the business world, they can go to that one place for what it is they need. Teachers, we're just still everywhere.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, great idea. This is a physical thing? Like you have a location, or is it going to be online? Or
It is actually a physical building. We lease a space inside of a mall now, and that's the retail store. You can also go to the website and purchase some things online. So I'm adding more things online to the website. As far as tutoring is concerned, our space is not big enough. So right now we tutor in 4 different libraries that are all centered basically around my house, what I can get to pretty close, whether I'm going somewhere or coming back home. Workshops, of course, I usually am going to their location. But of course, the plan is one day all of that will be in one space.
That's exciting.
Say exciting, overwhelming, all of those. You can say it.
Yes.
Exactly. The mishmash. Love it. All right. Does that mean I'm up? Does the lull in conversation mean it's my turn?
Yes.
So I am, and I've got to get used to actually looking at the camera, because I always want to look at the people as opposed to at the camera. It just feels so awkward. So I am Becky Upchurch, and I am the founder of Hire Good Coaching. Hire with a GH. The wordplay was actually not on purpose, but that's a story for another time. So I am a transition and growth coach. And really my passion area is working with people who feel like they are not where they want to be in life. I know for me, I was, wasn't living a bad life. I was living a perfectly, good life. I enjoyed my job. I had a nice house and a family, but I just knew deep inside in my gut that there was something more for me. And it took kind of a series of events to put me in a place to finally just say, you know what, now is the time for me to make a change. And once I kind of had that realization and started tapping into my own intuition to make decisions, I started noticing around me how many people were in similar situations where it was like, they kind of were like, oh, I feel like I want something more, or I've kind of thought about, starting a business, or, oh, I have this creative, venture that I want to pursue. And I just started realizing what a common problem it was, and how many people kind of had this voice inside telling them something, but they either weren't acting on it, or maybe they didn't know what the voice was telling them. And so it was kind of that realization of, as a coach, that's something that I can help them with. That's something that I can support people with. And so that was how I that was how I kind of tapped into my specific coaching niche, so to speak. I feel like I'm kind of backtracking, but I got into the field of coaching through education. I worked as a teacher, and then I left the classroom to become an instructional coach. And then from there, I discovered coaching, went through cognitive coaching training, eventually went to a coaching school, and the rest is kind of history. So I basically, after, having these epiphanies in my own life at, the age of 40, decided I was going to start my own business. I was going to seek out, the right supports and the right people, because I started a business and then I still was kind of, unsure of what to do. So kind of putting the right systems into place, finding the right resources, and structuring a path forward. And so now I want to kind of pay that forward with other people to help them figure out, okay, what is that voice telling me? What do I want to do with it? And then once I figure that out, what's my plan forward? What are the strategies? What are the resources? How can I really make those things that I want come to fruition? So I partner with people to make that happen. And the benefit to my clients is they learn to tap into their intuition and use that to help them make decisions, because those decisions ultimately are what is going to help them live their most fulfilling life. And once they do that, they see that that's just the beginning, because it's not just that thing that they get or they benefit from, they start to see the shifts in themselves. The more they begin to trust their intuition, the more they have that trust in themselves, the more they see how that positively impacts every single area of their life. So yeah, that's what I do.
Sounds good. Do you still work with teachers more so with your coaching? With
I do.
transitioning them into something else?
With my private, I still work for the school system. So I still work with teachers in an educational capacity. And then in my private coaching with my own business, I don't market specifically to teachers, which isn't to say I haven't had teachers who have, come across my path or who have reached out. But that's more kind of a broad-based thing.
Okay. And how long have you been in business? Private business?
I'm sorry?
And how long have you had your coaching?
I opened my company.
Business?
I formed my company at the end of 2017.
Okay. Oh, so it's very new.
Yes, it is very new. And that's, one of my things was it was new and I started a business. And I'll be honest, I started my business because I wanted to coach people. And that was my focus. And I didn't really think about the fact that I know nothing about starting a business. And so I feel like I started a business, and I guess it was probably mid to late fall last year. I want to say like October, November. And so I started this business and I was like, oh, I'm going to coach. And I was doing, some coaching. But then it was that whole idea of, oh, people aren't going to come to me for coaching if they don't know I exist. And then, having that realization of, I had a mentor coach, but that I really wanted to work with somebody specifically in the business realm, which is kind of how I discovered Rita. And so I feel like since I've, joined the Business Garden and done some of the stuff with her, it's kind of helped me to see just some of that business building stuff that I wasn't aware of or never really thought of. So it's kind of helped me to refocus my energies, because I feel like I was doing things to work on my business, but they weren't necessarily what you would call the business building things. So like I was creating content and, things of that nature. But I went to my first networking event in July of this year. So yeah, so it's been interesting. Excuse me. I feel like this is the time of the year where I'm allergic to everything. So I apologize for the coughing.
You're in Northern Virginia?
Yes. Land of the pollen and the grass mold and every other allergen known to man.
Oh, and is it cold up there or is it still warm?
It's actually warm and it finally stopped raining. So today was nice. Today I want to say was probably low 80s, which is my weather.
Okay. Yes, I used to live in Newport News, Virginia.
Oh, very nice.
Where are you now?
That's where I first started teaching. Jacksonville, Florida.
Oh, that's right. You said that. Okay.
And Renee, where are you?
I'm just south of Asheville, North Carolina.
Okay.
Oh, I'm from North Carolina.
Oh. Well, I'm not from here, but
Asheville is nice.
yeah, I love it around here.
Yeah, we used to go there often to the zoo.
Right. I'm looking at my notes
What's
now.
our next step?
Yeah.
And we're good on time. It's 7:30.
So we did introductions, brand stories. So identifying pod roles moving forward. And Jamora, I know you said you would be the timekeeper.
I think I can handle that.
Renee, was there anything that jumped out at you that you are just loving to do? I'm kind of perusing through
Yeah,
them.
too.
And am I missing someone? We have 5 people in our pod.
Yes. So the three of
Okay, I think
us,
I wrote full name.
and then Ray and Nicole.
Mhm.
Ray, Nicole. Okay, I didn't have Nicole.
Oh, I see. These are just examples of roles. So we
Yeah.
don't have to like have every role.
Okay.
But I think it'd be important to have someone who, tracks, like if we say I'm going to take these actions, someone tracks them, and then the following week, I can do that.
Okay.
I could take note of action steps.
All right. So you are the communicator.
You're gonna be-
I like these names.
Mhm.
Now, where was that? There it is. So I'll put that, Renee. And these roles stay throughout since it's only like 3
For
weeks.
the whole month.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's like they're written because it's the way they're written makes it sound to me like they're like for the duration.
Yeah. Okay. So we have Jamora.
And that would help.
Okay.
Yeah.
Stays the same, yeah.
All right, Becky. How about you?
I'm kind of looking and I'm like, I'm good with any of the above. So I'm being very indecisive today. Let's see.
I think we all could somewhat be the encourager, just kind of every now and then, just, send out little texts to encourage each other,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It shouldn't just have to be one person always doing that. But I think, every now and then, even when we see posts that we make in the group as a large, we can always remember to at least encourage our pod members along with encouraging everybody else also, which we already kind of do.
Right.
But if we just kind of take on that responsibility to at least try to do something to encourage the pod members, I think that'll be good.
Yeah. All right. Maybe I'll be the corraller. I feel like that's often my job at work is to like keep things. I'm very, like I said earlier, it's weird. I'm like a really weird mix of super type A and super laid back, which don't seem like they can coexist. But somebody once told me that that's the perfect description of my personality. So. But I'm usually good with like meetings, like making sure there's an agenda, making sure we're following it. So
Yeah, that's important.
All right. And then I guess we can have Nicole and Ray kind of weigh in on what roles they would like to take on going forward.
Okay.
And then debriefing week 1. Like, was there anything that anybody wanted to talk about that came up for them?
Just week 1 in general. Like, yeah. Really? Like, what happened to ease me into this? It was a lot. I was like, oh my gosh. And it was constant posting. And it was too funny for me when she said, oh, I just put a little video up. It's only about 30 minutes. Like, 30 minutes?
Oh, I just had a pop-up on my screen from Zoom. It says, here is a gift. We have removed the 40-minute time limit on your first group meeting. And then the button to click says, love it. So,
nice.
Love it.
Oh, there you go.
Okay. Yeah, I had a hard time, and I still have a hard time, even though I'm a writer, honing in on my core message. I mean, I went through, I've got notes, like pages of notes, and the one I think I like best, and I didn't even share it, is like, words create worlds. What world are your words creating for your audience? So I'll play with that.
Yeah, I like that. That kind of reminds me, scripture related. When I think of, God, he framed this world with the words that he said. So, yeah, I totally agree with what you say frames a lot of what happens for you. Like we tell our boys that all the time, speak your world into existence.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that was my biggest struggle. I just.
Yeah, I think for me, it helped to kind of think of it as like the taking a stance. Like, here's something that I believe that you may or may not agree with. Because I think that's like one of the things for me. It's like, when I try to frame things and it's like, I don't want to be so specific but then it's like, you want to be specific and make sure that you're targeting, it's like the more specific I am about what I think about topics around my business, the more I'm going to attract the right people instead of the wrong people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm kind of not sure what we're supposed to do here, because it's like she gave us kind of the instruction of what to do, but if I want to take actions, I have no, what are we supposed to come up with action steps for what? Like, you know what I mean?
You mean for this
Maybe
group, or do you mean?
Well, for this meeting in particular.
Yeah, and I was kind of looking over the stuff, and I'm wondering if it's because we're like so early, because it talks about things we can do in the meeting, and it's like, oh, solution storming, asking for advice, asking for support. But I feel like because we're so early,
Yes.
I feel like as we go along, we'll probably be doing all of this.
Mhm.
But since it's the first week, I kind of feel like we're all kind of like deer in the headlights, like,
Yes.
Mhm.
what are we doing? And hopefully Nicole will be here next week. Nicole, I know you're watching the replay, so I'm going to be like, and Nicole will be here, and she's a veteran, so she can be like, okay, guys, here's how it works.
Yes.
We're counting on you. No pressure.
I agree. Because I'm not too much to help for anybody. I'm still like, oh my goodness, really? It's a lot.
Well, that's what I was saying. Like, I wanted to give helpful feedback, but then I was like, well, I don't want to give feedback and then have it be like, oh, that's the exact opposite. But I think as we get deeper in, we'll be able to kind of talk about, oh, I took this action. Here's what happened. What do you guys think? Or what can I change? Or
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm with you, Renee. My core message, so I need to redo it because it was too much about what my business is as opposed to the stance that I take. And she gave me the example, if she put me on a soapbox, what upsets me and makes me mad. And it's like, okay, usually I always think the other route. What makes me happy and what's positive. So that took me a minute, and then I thought about, okay, no, these are things that I like. These are things that I stand for. These are things that I'm not willing to budge on. So then try to write a core message around it, and I was trying to make it simple and easy. So I have no idea. She'll give me some feedback in a minute.
Yeah, I heard some things when you were giving us your brand story. I heard some elements of your brand story about, how you want things to be accessible to everyone. And you were like, why should just public school teachers have access?
Right.
So, I kind of heard that piece of it.
Yeah. So I'm still working on my core message part. Like I said, I don't know what kind of feedback I'll get. That was somewhat different for me. I don't think I've ever had to think about it, the business, in that way. I know what I want my business to represent, and I know what feel I want people to experience when they come into the store. I know what people tell me now, when they come in the store, and it's like, yeah, that's exactly what I want, that kind of thing. But at the same time, I don't think I've ever had to somewhat verbalize it to the point that she's asking for a core message, and then to find this graphic that represents it, and then to think about all those other parts that are going to help create my brand. I think for me, I know, because the business is still so very new. Like I said, this is the third year, but my first year I was still working full time, and I took business classes, like you were saying, Rebecca. I can teaching. I can do that with my eyes closed because I love it. It's what's in me.
Right.
But a business? Like, no, God, I don't want to have a business. Nope, I don't want to run a business. I am
Right.
not that crazy. No. So this is only the second year. So it's still a lot of that developing for me. It's still a lot of learning and figuring it out myself.
Mhm.
So that's where I am. Oh, I turned that off. What time you have?
Let's see.
So did you still want to stop after 40 minutes or? Because it's 7:40 now. I know I said I would let you guys know when it was 7:40.
Okay. Well, the
Yeah.
only other thing I have on the agenda is open up the floor for requests, share, celebrations, anything else you want to throw out before we wrap. So I think we're good on time.
I can't think of anything else.
Yeah.
Oh, I have a success for all of us. We've started and we have not quit. Yay!
Yeah, we showed up.
Exactly.
Yes. Because for a minute there, it's like she was just throwing out so much. I was like, oh my gosh, I need to go back and catch up. I'm not on social media all day, every day, but I am on it.
Yeah.
So that's the celebration we can all celebrate.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. I don't have anything else.
Yeah,
So.
me neither. I think
I'm good.
good. And it's just, carving out time and, as long as we go.
All righty.
Sounds good.
All right.
So this time next Wednesday, 7 o'clock again?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Put it in my calendar that way.
See everybody then.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll upload
Have
the
a good
video.
evening.
Awesome. Thank
bye-bye.
you. Bye.
Bye-bye.